I played Jim Becker in Jitney this past summer. It was put on by the Pittsburgh Playwrights Theater under the direction of Mark Southers. I am a childhood friend of August Wilson. We grew up together. We go back to the early days of the Hill District, and we went to elementary school together. We went to an elementary school called Holy Trinity. It was a Catholic school across the street from the church that is now St. Benedict. The original name of that church was Holy Trinity. And they had a school connected one block away from the church. And that's where we went to elementary school, and that's where I met August Wilson and Rob Penny. It was a split screen. On the one hand, there was dire poverty and oppression and segregation. On the other hand, it was a vibrant cultural gumbo. And it's amazing how even in the most dire circumstances, people can reach into their culture and pull out the things that help to make them whole, that the society and the environment could not bring out in them. In fact, the society kind of crushes it to the ground, but resilient people reach into that culture and pull out a living and pull out life despite the circumstances. And so there was music. Georgie Benson was in the neighborhood, and you can usually find him down the block playing his guitar with a cigar box on the ground where people would put dimes and nickels, sometimes dollars, into the cigar box. There were restaurants and bars and drugstores and businesses, movie theaters. In a community like that, the street becomes an important part of the culture. So people lived on the street. We played baseball in the street. The young people and the adults socialized on the street. So the street life became an important component to some degree, I guess, because there wasn't much in the house. So a way that you could participate, have fun, see other people, is you got to get out of the house and hit the street. And so we lived a large part of our life in the street. So that's what the Lower Hill District was like back during the late 40s, early 1950s. I think the answer to that question is Daisy. his mother. Somehow, Daisy managed to teach August at a very early age how to read. And August became a great student. When we were in school, August was a very shy young man. And when the teacher would ask a question, if I knew the answer, I would be jumping out of my seat, raising my hand, trying to get the teacher to call on me, because it wasn't all that often that I knew the answer. August never raised his hand. But when a teacher would call on him, he always knew the answer. And I could never, man, if you knew the answer, how come you're not like raising your hand? And he would just smile and laugh. So August was very smart, very curious, and somehow he learned so much, basically through his curiosity and ability to read. Eventually, August's personality and the lack of competence in the school system spit August out. And naturally, August found refuge in the library. It was a whole new world that opened up. He could go anywhere in the world without leaving the main room of the library. And that library opened up a great new world for August. Well, I hesitate to answer that question because it's almost like you being the parent of 10 children and someone asking you, which one is your favorite?
Yeah.
For me, Jitney resonates more strongly to some degree because it's his first, and to some degree because of my personal involvement with August's first production on a professional level on stage. And the first play that he put on stage was Jitney. And it happened that I was about to leave Pittsburgh and relocate to California. And he came to town and we got together as we usually do whenever August is back in town, and we talk about our lives. What are we doing? You know, how's our family? How's our work coming along? And for August, the conversation was always, what play are you working on? Who are the characters in the play? What's the theme of the play? And that's a conversation that would keep us in the restaurant, eating pan-fried fish, drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes and talking uh, about what's going on uh, for hours. And this time, August said, I'm ready to put on my first professional production. I'm going to do it here in Pittsburgh. And Sala, the whole time that I wrote this play, I envisioned you as the key leader of this group of men, of jitney drivers. And so I need you to perform the uh, the 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 role uh, and to do this play. I said, "Oh man, August, wow, that's a real honor." But I'm about to leave town. I'm relocating. Um, and he said, "You got to do this play." Uh, the character's name is Becker, Jim Becker. And I said, "Well, I'm honored, brother, but I'm on my way out of town." He said, "Well, here's a script. Just read the script, and let's get together again tomorrow and tell me what you think." So I said, "Okay," but I'm leaving town. I took the script home, read it, cried, thought about my dad, and came back and met August the next day and told him I'm going to postpone my departure for California by a month or so, and I'm going to do this play. And we put that play on in a renovated church at the corner of Kraft and Forbes. And it became a great hit. And it was his first. Um, and and it resonated with me for a number of reasons, but not the least of which was because it reflected back to me some of the struggles that I had with my father, who was beginning to wane in his years at the same time I was coming of age and thought I was grown. And the battles that we had, me and my father, all of which I lost. But there were unspoken conversations that I wished I'd had with my father, that the characters, Booster, Becker's son, the conversations that Booster and Becker had were conversations that I wished I had had with my father, which I never had. He died before I could have those conversations. Pittsburgh acknowledges one of its own to be among the best playwrights that America has produced. And Pittsburgh is conscientious enough and smart enough to locate the papers of August Wilson in the University of Pittsburgh library. And I am honored to have my papers and Rob Penny's papers and August Wilson's papers, the three amigos. Our papers are all at the University of Pittsburgh. And my accomplishments don't come anywhere near the accomplishments of August and Rob, but I'm just glad to be at the table in the conversation. August is in the ballpark with people like Eugene O'Neill, Arthur Miller, Amiri Baraka, Tennessee Williams. Those are Langston Hughes. August is among that group. And the University of Pittsburgh is very smart to have gone out and obtained August's papers and will now be putting them on display. That's a real honor. And I'm glad to have been in the proximity of someone as great a playwright as was August Wilson.